There are moments in life when you don't collapse, but you slowly unravel on the inside. Not in one loud moment, not in one dramatic scene, but quietly, silently, in a way only you can feel. You still move, you still wake up, you still show up when you're needed. From the outside, nothing looks wrong. You laugh when people expect you to. You talk when you're supposed to. You function the way you always have. But deep inside, something feels a little heavier. Something feels slower. Something feels like it's shifting out of place. Your mind feels tired in a way sleep doesn't fix. Your heart feels quiet in a way you can't describe. You're not broken, but you're not fully okay either. You don't call it burnout. You don't call it stress. You don't have a name for it. You just feel different. And what most people never realize is this: your brain can be exhausted long before your body feels tired. Mental exhaustion is subtle. It creeps in gently like fog settling over a familiar landscape until everything looks a little blurry. Let's walk through the signs slowly so you can understand what your mind has been quietly trying to tell you. 1. Your thoughts feel heavier than usual. Your mind still works, but the thoughts don't glide the way they used to. They come slower. They feel thicker. They take more effort to understand and arrange. You might reread things. You might pause mid-thought. You might forget what you were about to say, even though it was right there a moment ago. It's not a lack of intelligence. It's not a lack of effort. It's your mind signaling that it's low on internal resources. Cognitive fatigue makes every thought feel like it's moving through mud instead of air. You're still capable. You're still thinking. It's just that every thought now costs more energy than before. 2. You feel mentally busy even when you're doing nothing. You sit down to rest, but your mind does not rest with you. It walks. It loops. It whispers the same unfinished sentences. It replays conversations, rechecks worries, returns to old thoughts that never got closure. It feels like an engine running even when the car is parked. This kind of mental busyness isn't loud or chaotic. It's subtle, like a background hum you can't turn off. Your mind has forgotten how to switch from alert to safe, not because you're anxious, but because you're overwhelmed. 3. You become emotionally flat. Life keeps happening, but your reactions don't. Things that used to excite you now barely spark interest. Things that once annoyed you now feel like distant static. It's not numbness from sadness, it's numbness from exhaustion. Your emotional system doesn't have the energy to feel fully anymore, so it lowers the volume. People may think you're calm. People may think you're fine. But inside, it feels like every emotion has been wrapped in cotton. You're not detached from life on purpose. Your brain is simply preserving the little energy it has left. 4. Small things overwhelm you more than they should. A message that needs a reply, a phone call you need to return, a tiny detail you forgot to finish. None of these things are big, but they feel big. You look at a simple task and feel a strange resistance, as if your mind can't gather the strength to approach it. Mental exhaustion shrinks your capacity, not your intelligence, not your ability, just your capacity. When your mental cup is already full, even one extra drop feels like too much. 5. You feel tired even after resting. You sleep, but the rest doesn't reach you. You lie down, but the heaviness remains. It's like waking up with the same thoughts you went to bed with. The same tension in your chest, the same weight behind your eyes. This is because mental exhaustion isn't cured by lying still. Your body rests, but your thoughts continue carrying the same burdens. Rest without relief is one of the clearest signs your mind is running on fumes. 6. You can't tolerate noise or stimulation. Things feel sharper. Crowds feel louder. Conversations feel heavier. Things that never bothered you suddenly scrape against your nerves. Your brain has lost its emotional padding, the invisible buffer that normally softens stimulation. Without that padding, everything feels like too much, too loud, too bright, too fast. It's not irritability, it's depletion. 7. You daydream or mentally drift away without meaning to. You catch yourself staring at nothing for longer than you intended. You forget what you were doing. You lose time without realizing where it went. This isn't distraction. This isn't boredom. This is your brain momentarily stepping away because it can't stay present for long stretches. Cognitive dissociation is your brain's quiet way of saying, I need a break. You don't disconnect from yourself. You move through your day, but it doesn't feel like you're deeply in it. It's like watching your life from half a step behind your body. Your emotions feel distant. Your personality feels muted. Your sense of self feels soft around the edges. This kind of disconnection is a protective shield. Your mind reduces your emotional exposure because it's overwhelmed. You're still you, you're just tired on a level most people never talk about. 9. Your memory becomes foggy. You forget what you just picked up. You lose track of small tasks. You can't recall simple details. Working memory collapses when the brain is exhausted, not because it's failing, but because it's overloaded. Your brain isn't malfunctioning, it's overcapacity. It's trying to function while carrying more weight than it's designed to hold. Why this happens? The psychology behind mental exhaustion. Mental exhaustion doesn't come from one event. It builds slowly, layer by layer, quietly collecting everything you never had time to feel. Every moment you held yourself together, every time you pushed through, every emotion you swallowed, every responsibility you carried alone, every thought you postponed for later. Your brain stores it all. Some people call it strong, but even strength has limits. Mental exhaustion happens when you've been in survival mode for too long, when you carry everyone else's emotions but ignore your own, when you stay mentally alert in situations that don't feel safe, when you overthink because you don't feel grounded, when you haven't had silence or emotional space in months. The mind doesn't collapse loudly. It dims slowly. It whispers. It withdraws. These signs are the language of a tired brain asking for less weight and more gentleness. Your brain speaks in subtle ways: forgetfulness, irritation, numbness, overthinking, disconnection, drifting away when you meant to stay present. These aren't failures. They're signals. Signals that you've been strong for too long without a pause, without relief, without softness. Mental exhaustion doesn't announce itself. It slips in quietly in the tiny ways you stop feeling like yourself. But the beautiful thing is your mind knows how to heal, not through force, not through pressure, but through gentler days and quieter moments where you can finally breathe again. You don't need to fix yourself. You don't need to become someone else. You just need to give your brain what it has been silently asking for. And piece by piece, softly, you will return to yourself.